All right, so let's work on the toString method under students. So that way we will be able to print all the grades and the student name all at once as a report. Okay, so what can we do here? Well, a toString typically will return a string. So we're overriding the toString from the object class. So let's see what happens here. So public string toString, and that will be the name of the method. So let's go ahead and put some curly braces here. We're going to have string the message that we will send back, and then we'll return message, obviously. Now, this will be highlighted in red. That is because we didn't assign any value to it. So maybe the first thing we will do is actually assign the name. We would like to display the name. And then we'll display all 5 grades under that name. So we could start with something like this. Message equals a message, name, something like this. And then concatenate the variable name. And then what I'll do is I'll add a new line and then semicolon. Make sure we spell the message the same way so it's consistent across. Now I'm going to need a for loop to step through all the grades. So let's do that, and while I'm doing that, I will concatenate again to message all the grades and format them in a way where they will be lined up with a tab in between. All right, so let's go ahead and do a for loop. Int I equals 0, I less than, and guess what? We are looking at grades, the array grades. So the limit will be grades.length. So we're going to go over here. And obviously you need to increment I, or your index, as you step through these. So how are we going to do this? Well, let's try to do this in one statement. Well, we'll concatenate. So that means we'll accumulate into a message. We could do something like this, plus equal. Okay, so what? Well, the actual grades I. Okay, and then what? Maybe plus a/t to actually give me a space between the grades. Okay, once we're done with that, let's go ahead and maybe put a new line. So again, message, notice I'm outside the loop now, plus equal, new line. All right, well, let's go ahead and test it out. So let's go back to main. So again, notice here we're going to be sending a fully concatenated message with a name at the top. And if everything works, all our grades will be on the same line with a /t in between. So let's go ahead to here. Let's reevaluate what we have here. We know we don't need this. This will never run, right? So it will not assign 100 because our array size is 4. So we'll definitely go from 98. Well, let's leave it there to prove the point. And instead of just printing the s1.getName, let's go ahead and do something else here. Simply print s1. Now, why can we do this? We can do this because we have the toString method for that purpose. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. Let's see what happens. And there you have it. So all our grades were committed, and we were able to pull out the name Jeff plus all the grades with a /t in front of it, right? So to separate them. And notice it stopped at 9 and did not include 100 because this insertion here was beyond the scope of what this array can handle. However, we made sure that we're not going to run into issues or errors as we add those grades. We did a getGrade method for each one of these, which really is looking at the top of the stack or the top of the array or the last element we inserted. So maybe we should rename it as getLastGrade, possibly. we will see next time when we attack this project again. The reason we're not done, obviously, we haven't completed our objectives. We're going to have to marry this with some student and some course to create or to finish up the project's intentions of assigning a course to a student that has a certain number of grades that need to be completed, and then we'll get a grade report. But right now, everything we've done so far just allows us to test the classes that would be our baseline for the application. We will get rid of the drivers here. Those are for testing purposes. We will have the final application with main in it for the full implementation of the project. I'll see you for the next video on that.